Good afternoon. Hello, everybody. Hello, Norman. Hello, Judy. Hello, Paul. Welcome along. I'll just enlarge the screen for those in the room. And hello, Joy. I can see your comments this week. Oh, that's good. Now, don't moan at me. I've tweaked the image. I've moved my house across and made up a bit of a gate. But you don't have to if you don't want to. But I just thought it was a bit boring being in the middle. But if you want it to be in the middle, then that is it, because it's your world. You'll hear a different voice as well in the room today, possibly. We've got a new member. Do I have to be nice?
Just a little bit.
Okay. I'll be nice-ish. Don't get any ideas, D. You've been here long enough.
I've been here long enough. I can take it.
It's very relaxed here, you see, Ashley, and we're not like nasty or anything really.
That's alright. We're here for a bit of just de-stress.
Yes. Well, hopefully.
Do you think that the ground is level with the wall?
What you mean, like undulating?
No. The bit of right
Here.
that bit.
That bit there. Yeah.
Is that ground? Is that moss on top of the wall or grass?
Oh, do you know what? I'm doing it as a wall, but I think you might be right, D.
Sorry,
That's annoying.
isn't it? Because that means you can't have a gate.
I'm having a gate though. Tough.
No, I'm having a tree.
You're having a tree. Do you know what? I'm going to see if I can Google Earth this place. And I want to see.
I think that the wall stops the.
No, it does look very much like a wall online. It's boarded up, by the way. Nobody lives here.
That's just so sad.
I'd live in it. Although I wonder what the Wi-Fi is like. It is in the middle of Dartmoor. But you see, if you look, if I just quickly do that, look, that to me looks like a wall around it, doesn't it?
Do.
But then I can't see. I am going to have it as a wall. Because there is a roadway through it. Honest. Look, I'll show you this. And it's almost where I've got it, look, because there's that front wall.
Yeah.
And then it comes round there, but then that way there's a track going through it.
Right.
So it's almost like what I've done. You're going to have a tree there.
I'm going to put a tree there.
That's alright. You can have a tree.
Thank you, dear.
But if you've got it portrait, that's fine. If you've got it landscape, that's fine. If you've got it in the middle, that's also fine.
That grass looks really lush, doesn't it?
It does, and there's nice strong shadows on it. But yeah, we'll make it inhabited. We'll make it feel like a home again. I hope you're all doing all right online, and you've had a good week so far. Maybe you had a lovely Valentine's, but I don't want to know the details.
We completely forgot to cast them.
Did you?
Like what?
Obviously, I couldn't get through the door for Valentine's
No.
cards from all of my fans and admirers
They were
across
deep
the
on the floor,
world.
were they?
They were.
It's blue grey, isn't it? The stones.
It is. Well, that's why I've chosen both blues
Yeah.
to try and work it out.
And the sky's really white blue.
Yeah. It's lovely. It's a nice scene. So how are you online? Are you doing all right? I'm just logging on online just in case you're talking to me and I'm not. I can't read it on the screen. Okay. I'm doing it landscape, Judy. Oh, I'm in the wrong. I'm in the wrong thing. Hang on. But it doesn't matter. Windy in Berkshire. Well, it was right blowing a right gale down my chimney last night. I don't normally wake up in the night either, but it was quite blustery.
We rarely hear the wind from the front of the house. I don't know why. I don't. But last night,
Really did.
really did.
See, I'm on a hill, quite exposed where I am, so
Oh, yeah. I just we're in the street.
yeah.
So it's not what I'd call exposed.
No, not really, are you? But I think it's going to get like 60 miles an hour over the next day.
If there's one thing that truly frightens me, it's natural phenomena.
Yeah. I do like lightning though. I love a nice bit of thunder and lightning.
God, you just reminded me when we were very little. One of my few memories of my mother was there was a storm, and she used to sit us on the windowsill with the curtains drawn behind us, so we could see the lightning.
Yes.
And she just made it so exciting.
We had it. We used to turn the telly off, open the curtains, and just use the window as our TV to watch a nice thunderstorm.
Yeah. And
I love it.
I was never frightened of it.
No, thank you, Paul. So whereabouts in Ireland are you from originally?
So it's a place called Kildare. It's just outside Dublin.
Okay.
So I was there till I was 18, and then I came over here for uni, and I've been here since.
Cool.
So yeah, I just decided.
Never made it back.
No, not yet. No, my mother's trying, bless her. She's really trying. Every time I go home, it's so when are you coming back? But maybe we'll see someday.
But you're enjoying it here.
Yeah, no, it's quite nice. I didn't know Banbury before I moved here, so it was a bit of a bigger town than what I'm used to.
See, most people say how small Banbury is, but I think it's quite a big town.
Yeah, I would have said this.
Bigger than my town that I grew up in.
Yeah.
It's a veritable metropolis.
Yes, it is.
Just depends what you're used to, doesn't it?
Yes, that's true.
My granny will be delighted. She's amazing at watercolour.
Oh, is she?
She's absolutely brilliant, which is why I said I'd give it a go at Christmas. Not Christmas. Was it Christmas or somewhere? I think so. Yeah. And I said I'd give it a go, and so I'll send her a little picture, even no matter how bad it is. She'll be shocked.
Well, let's hope. Let's fingers crossed. Then we'll do a good job. See, my ancestors are from Athlone.
Oh, very nice. My
Yes.
dad spends a lot of time up there, like sailing and stuff,
Okay.
and on Loughree.
Well, we've always, so it's my what is it? My great grandfather, I think, was from there and then came over during the potato famine. But we haven't been able to find hardly any information about, and I can't go further back than my great grandfather. I just can't, unless I actually go there and go to the church records. I think I'll be scuppered.
Quite difficult. You can do a lot of it online, I think.
Yeah, I've paid. I'm a fully paid up member on Ancestry, but it just draws a line because I haven't got much information to go by, which is sad, really.
I think a lot of it got burnt down when
Mm.
over fires and wars. A lot
Yes.
of the offices got burnt, so loads
Yeah.
of work was lost, which is quite sad, isn't it?
It is. But it was nice when I had my DNA that I'm 1% Irish, which is good, and 9% Welsh, which we didn't know about. So
The thing is, you just don't know how far back DNA goes.
well,
does it?
the Welsh bit is from the 1600s,
Yeah.
and it's the baronets of Flintshire in North Wales. So
Oh.
I'm from a line of barons, and
Fancy.
I know.
My mum did hers, and she came like 98% from the same county. It was so embarrassing. I was like, goodness, you don't get out much more.
Although I am 85%, something like that, 86% West Midlands, kind of Middle England person.
I'd be interested because, I mean, I'm just London.
Yeah.
London, both sides, which is why we've been able to go so far back
Yeah.
on our
Good
family
records,
tree
yeah.
because the records are there.
Yeah. No, that's good. You should do it. They do special offers about twice a year. It's about 60 quid
Yeah.
for a DNA thing, and it takes a month, and then it came back. So for me, it was interesting because I found out for certain that my stepfather was my actual father. So, you know, thanks, Mum. I'll give you a couple more minutes to draw. Is that all right?
It would have been a hell of a lot worse if you said somebody was my actual father.
Well, it could have been Ron the Muck Spreader for all I knew, or Don the Milkman, knowing my mother.
Which is why I've always said ancestry should go down the maternal line.
Mm.
Because it's the one you're sure of.
Absolutely, it is. It is definitely the one that I'm sure of. But when family members found out, that it was no surprise because I do look just like him.
Mm.
But you believe what you're told, don't you, as a kid?
Tell me about it.
I wish he'd have known before he died that I was his.
Yeah.
So that's the
Do you
one
think he
sad
did
thing.
know?
No, because he adored my mom. He worshipped her and believed everything she said. His family, however, have always known and guessed because I look just like them. But yeah, it's bizarre, really.
He must have known.
I don't think so because I look more like him now. I've got a beard. That's one of the reasons I grew my beard. That was years ago. Me testing the water. Could I actually be before my mother's deathbed revelation?
Was it a deathbed?
Almost, yes. It wasn't long before she went. She went into the hospice. And it was at the time, you remember, my sister had fallen out with me. She'd stopped talking to me for 2 years because she's like that. And I said to my mum, "It's weird. I don't feel a really close bond between my brother and sister and me." And I know exactly where I was on the phone when I was sitting, and she went, "Well, I've had a flashback." and there may not be. And I was like, "Oh, okay." So even though I got the good dad out of the three of us, it came as a bit of a shock, and it still is. 5 years, 6 years later on, it's something. I do get a bit annoyed about her. I know she had absolutely valid reasons for keeping it from everybody, but it is a bit annoying.
But you could, yeah, I know.
But she did what she thought was best at the time. I'll show you a photo of my dad when he was about my age, if I can find him. I think there's still some people in my family that haven't got a clue. Right,
Well, yes,
that's my dad.
Oh god.
yeah.
No doubt.
And I didn't believe that, but he was my dad. So yeah, funny. Never mind. Right, we'll do a bit of... How are you nearly drawn, Ashley? Are you alright?
Yeah, I'm just
You're just faffing.
Just faffing.
Joy, what? You know, you're on your boat. Are you in your boat, Joy? How windy are you? She's on a canal boat, a narrow boat. She lives on a narrow boat. So
we never know where she is in the world. Well, in England.
Yes.
Or Wales.
That would be my ideal life, I think, if I could.
Really? You'd like that?
I've always grown up with like sailing and like staying kind of like small like sailing boats.
Yeah.
The odd night with Dad, and I absolutely love it. Like we rented a boat for like 6 weeks and went around on it, and I just loved it.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, work seems to be a bit of an issue. I can't work from home, so.
No. Okay. Well, something to aspire to, maybe.
Also, moorings are incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
Judy's just said, no doubt that's your dad. Well, my DNA proves it, because I didn't know my nephew had also, my sister's son had done his DNA test on Ancestry. That was my first realisation. At 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning, I had the email to say, we've had your DNA results. Log in. There's my sister's son, and it shows him as a second cousin, not a nephew, because he doesn't share enough DNA to be my full nephew. So that's what, and I messaged my sister. Well, it was right. Well, so lots of colours. We need cerulean blue and ultramarine. I've spelt it right this week. I've had a right trouble spelling ultramarine for the last couple of days. I don't know what's going on. So cerulean blue and ultramarine, or intense blue. You can use your intense blue instead of cerulean. You just need less of it because it's like whoa. Cadmium red, burnt sienna, yellow ochre, and a little bit of cadmium yellow. That's all we need. I say all. That's quite a lot, isn't it? Oh, you're in Starport. Does that really buffer you about in Starport with the wind? Being in your boat. Oh, Dee's playing with a new brush today, everybody. So, she's playing with a hake. Not a fish, obviously. It's a brush. Made of goat hair. But it's a big... They're like...
You can get a really straight line with it.
Yeah, they're the kind of things. So that's why it's called a hake, because of how it's bound. Looks a bit like a fish kind of thing. And it's old school binding. And they're made of goat hair. And they're very absorbent. Very absorbent. You don't need much. So they're like... You know how you find the squirrel can be a bit runny?
Well, no, I've got a lot.
Right, so I'm wetting down to the horizon line, just with water for now, around the house. And I'll try and be nice to Ashleen. And not... No chance. You will. It'll be fine. I'm using the back of some painting today. Well, I think it's a bit of I think cerulean's the main colour. No, I bet you're not looking forward to tomorrow's wind. That would not be ideal in a boat. Almost make you seasick, I suppose. Right, bit of cerulean or intense blue. If it's intense blue, you want a lot less. Don't forget, though, that watercolour dries 30% lighter. So let's just cover it with cerulean. Let it spread about, and then I'll add a little bit of ultramarine right at the top. I think I've had too much water here. I could have a bath with it. I haven't turned the bird song off from this morning's class yet, so we've got the relaxing bird song to unwind and de-stress you. We're supposed to, but then I make up for it and cause more anxiety. I know. So what do you do for work?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm a vet.
A vet?
Yeah.
How
Do
lovely.
animals all day. So unfortunately I can't take that on a barge and move around.
Well, no, that would... Unless you were like a mobile vet. and like you had a trailer at the back for extra things. So a little bit of ultramarine at the top just to deepen it. You don't need much. So you are fully qualified now, and
Yeah, I've been working for a year and a half now.
lovely.
So it's really good. It's challenging, but no, really, really enjoyable.
I bet. How lovely. The cafe collects money for the Nutkin Ward, which is a wildlife rescue centre locally, and that's operated by a vet.
Is it?
Yeah, and they save lots of hedgehogs and badgers and all that kind of thing. I don't know where they're based. They're fairly local to here.
I don't know the exact name. I know we have one of the nurses who locums with us. She runs a wildlife charity very locally and has a lot of hedgehogs and everything. It might actually be hers. I just don't know the name of it.
Ah, might be the same person.
Very big one.
What bits are over it?
Is that off your brush?
It must be. What bits?
So there is a few bits of cloud lower down. So if I clean my brush and dry it off a little bit, I can just roll it around and lift off the colour to give me the feeling of cloud. And of course, if your sky goes wrong, you can just put more clouds in. Little bit across the horizon. If you were very adventurous, you could stick a Dartmoor pony in here, couldn't you? In the back garden.
No.
No. You could.
Well, you could, yeah. I wonder if that has all come off the brush.
I would imagine it has.
Just bits.
It'll probably it'll brush off. Yeah, it'll brush off. But it should be good for grass in this one as well, actually.
It's weird using such a big brush.
Is it going to make you? How far are you going to go with this brush today? Is it 1.5 inch? I think it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Are you going to do the house?
I might.
Well,
I might.
try and do it all with
Try and
just
do it
that
all
one
with
brush.
Ha!
That would be a that would definitely make it loose.
Well, yeah, because you couldn't.
You could use the very corner though, because if you just use the very edge.
Because it really does form a tight line, doesn't it?
They're more chisel tipped than you think for such a. I mean, look at my massive one here, Dee.
That's just showing off.
But that would cover the whole tabletop in one dip.
Yeah.
I mean, massive area. I don't really use it. I tell you what, I use it, but I use it more as a duster to get in between my keyboard.
Good idea. If I don't like it, this will become a duster.
It'd become a duster. Hello, Daphne. Oh, late again. Sit up the corner and face the wall. It does dry a bit lighter, so you have to make a little bit more colour on. Because if you get it the colour you think you like, by the time it dries, it's no longer that nice colour.
That's a 1 inch.
1 inch. Well, that's good. Yeah, they do 1, 1.5, 2, 3, I think.
Do you know why I think it gets so wet? Is that the water can go in the back of the bristles as well.
Yes. It really fills in. But goat hair is one that, like Chinese brushes, paint brushes, it holds a lot.
Yeah.
And it's quite flexible as well.
I think I'm going to find trouble getting enough paint on the brush with the little pans.
Yeah, you probably find.
I might have to take them out.
Yeah. Yeah, because you'll probably dip in and double load your brush, so you'll end up with 2 colours.
Yeah.
But the issue, and the thing is, if you use tubes, then it would be really weird because you'd end up using a lot of paint.
Huge amount.
And you wouldn't really be able to get the effects that you wanted from a tube. So you do need to, like if you think of Chinese painting, they use ink sticks, don't they?
Yeah. And they can make a huge amount of pigment.
But it's lovely to have you with us anyway, Daphne. as always. So the recording of our Portrait of the Queen lesson yesterday has gone out onto ArtStream. Whether anybody will want to join in or not, I don't know. But those of you that are in this class that did the drawing class yesterday, well done. Everybody did a cracking job. I could tell who it was. I do think the grid helped get our proportions a bit better. And I think if it was a 4-hour class, we'd all be able to do a much better likeness.
Yeah.
But in 2 hours, learning how to use a grid method and to get a likeness of somebody that's world famous,
You did well.
you did really well. So hopefully you'll learn lots today, Ashleen, and
Hopefully, that's the plan. I'm sure I will.
you will.
What not to do, I think.
Well, sometimes that's just as important.
I'm going to need some more paint, I think, soon. I've got other ones that are a bit low. I'm using Barry's own paints.
Oh, are you?
And they're yummy. They're so nice.
Thanks. I'm using my own as well. But sometimes you do need to learn from making mistakes, don't you? What is it? It's like good judgment comes from experience, but experience comes from bad judgment. You know. So that's what to remember. And it's only a bit of paper at the end of the day, isn't it? And I think you'll do a really good job. I can feel it.
No pressure.
You can feel it in his water.
Yes, in my paint water. Right, because that's got to dry. Depends how much you soaked it for. Yeah, it's cockled, that's
Yeah,
called.
that's my issue. It keeps dipping.
Yeah, it might be that it's just a little
My
wet. Because what paper are you using?
Um,
Oh yeah, Aquafine. So
Clear
that's,
lining.
yeah, I mean that's a decent one. But it's yeah, if you use too much water,
yeah.
it will cockle. You see, if you look at how I'm using the same weight paper as you, but I just used a staple
Yeah.
in the corners, so it shrinks and contracts around it. So it has cockled a bit, but
Not much.
not a lot. But you've got a hairdryer in front of you if you wanted to dry it. It's a bit of a tricky one to turn on and off.
I've got a swarm of bees, couldn't I?
Hmm?
I've got a swarm of bees on the bits.
It'll wipe off. It should brush off, in theory. So we're going to leave the house alone because that's the darkest, one of the darkest pieces of the painting. That's what it's called. Or do you know what? I'm going to lend you a biro lid.
Could I have one too?
Goodness sake!
Just
I
realised I
know.
forgot about any clouds, but we'll fix that at the end.
You don't necessarily have to have any. This will come in handy shortly.
It's a technical piece of kit.
Yeah, I am not in any links with Bic. No shares or anything. But it will become handy. Right, so if you look at the greens, the ochre colour for the long grass is lighter than the green, isn't it? A little bit. So we'll just do that. A bit of yellow ochre, which is the sandy colour. And you can shove that anywhere you like. I'm just going to give it a bit of a soft wash. I'm not wetting it first. I'm just going to use the wetness. And you can cover everything to the horizon line. I'm going to go round the wall. I might add a little bit of the cadmium yellow right at the back. And keep it nice and soft. So you're only half an hour into the lesson already. You will find that these lessons do go very quickly. We normally break for 5 minutes or so at 3 o'clock, and if you want a hot drink or something from the cafe, I do a drinks order. They're £1.50 for a hot drink or a hot chocolate, or £1 for a cold drink.
Perfect.
But you probably will need something by that time. So if I go with a bit more yellow ochre there, and then if I add a tiny bit of cadmium yellow right at the back, just changes the tone a little bit. But we've got the other grass and everything to put on it, so don't panic at this point. And we'll let that dry. We've got no catastrophes online just yet, have we? I hope.
No catastrophes.
Catastrophe. So which is the most popular animal that gets brought in, and is it a dog or a cat or a?
Do you know what? I think dogs and cats are pretty 50-50. You kind of have days where you see nothing but one species. I feel when you're consulting, but I think I don't let them know, but I'm more of a dog person. Than
Are
a cat,
you?
I think I am, yeah. But you know, you have to like them both. I do.
You
To
do.
be fair, dogs are a lot easier than cats. Cats are very sneaky little animals. What's wrong with them? Until
No.
you're like, oh my god, the end is near.
I'm obsessed with a dog in America called Bunny, who uses buttons to talk to her owner.
Oh yeah, those training things.
Yeah, she told her owner the other day. Well, I think it was probably last year now, but I only saw it again the other day. She went ouch. She hit the ouch button,
Yeah.
and then the owner was like, "What's the matter, Bunny?" And she went stranger and paw, and she'd got a thorn in her paw in between it. Yeah.
I've heard of that one. Yeah, it's really amazing.
Yeah.
Some of them, I think the dogs just hit them because they know that if they hit any combination, they get a treat.
Yes.
And you know, so
But Bunny is really interesting. She had an existential crisis last year because she couldn't work out what she was, because her owners were human, and she kept saying, "What am I?" kind of thing.
Let's have a look at it.
Yeah, I think it's called "What About Bunny" or something like that in the Instagram and Facebook and TikTok.
She's famous.
Yeah. Everybody loves Bunny. And what's the most unusual animal you've had to treat or look at?
I brought in a leopard gecko a while ago, which I really like, but you don't see them often. It's like a little lizard.
Yeah.
So that was quite interesting. We had a lot of bunnies and guinea pigs as well, which I'm quite happy. I really like them, and like tortoises and stuff. I'm quite happy with. Though you know we don't see them much, so I'm a bit like, oh, turkey with this.
But you know that must be really hard because you know, for a doctor, you're only looking at one species, aren't you, really? But if you're looking at lots of different species of animals, that must be really hard to know how to look after them all the time.
Yeah, it depends. Some are very similar and some are completely different. So, dogs and cats are completely different, like, just worlds apart. They do not get the same issues. Whereas, you know, then you're kind of bunny rabbits and guinea pigs and all are all quite tend to, anything I don't know, I say go to the exotic specs because they give the best. If they do exotics all day, they go
Yeah,
much
well,
further.
absolutely, yeah.
It's becoming a lot more specialised than it used to be back in the day. Very much, you know, the James Herriot vibes are kind of, they are leaving us, and we are becoming much more kind of selective in what you treat, and then doing a better job at treating fewer
Yes,
species, basically.
yeah.
Because you can't know everything about everything.
Oh gosh, no,
unfortunately.
absolutely.
So I quite like doing the specialist kind of stuff more. I like to know exactly what I'm doing and that I'm getting it right rather than
Yeah.
I don't like winging things. Which is what I'm clearly winging this today. It's not gone very well.
It's too early to comment. Sometimes these lessons do become a bit of who did it worst. No, mine's worse than yours. No, mine's much worse than yours.
At the minute, it looks like a house in the sand.
Yes, it does at the moment. But that won't stay that way.
No, this is true.
It will be very exciting. Especially when the biro lid comes into play.
The grass.
Maybe.
I watched Landscape Artist of the Year last night. They were doing the big bridge in Scotland.
Oh, Firth of the Forth, yes.
The red job.
Yes.
And it was quite interesting because the one that I really liked, who made the bridge look heavy and massive and engineered,
Didn't win.
and someone who made it look like a piece of fairy light strung across the river did.
Yeah.
And I just thought,
Well, you see, it's interesting with that show because they're always saying they want to see things that they've never seen before, new techniques and whatever.
when they do, they don't take them through.
No, it's interesting because also you are only looking at it. I mean, the quality of the judges on that show are amazing, but you are still looking at somebody else's opinion, aren't you, for something like that? Right, so that's nearly dry. Actually, it's not nearly dry, but I have got a hairdryer if I need to.
Yeah.
I bet it's quite wet.
I'm learning with the H that I'm painting in a bar.
It's a lot wetter, isn't it, with the hat?
To pick up the intensity of colour.
Yeah, well, it's going to be diluting it all the time. Yeah, because it holds more water. It will. You've either got to make more colour, or it will be a softer painting.
I think I might have to use tubes for it.
What you could do, and I know some people do it, is that they'll use tubes and they'll make dilute paint in ink form in wine glasses or something. So they'll just dip it in, so it's a much stronger mix.
Yeah.
That's a possibility.
Because I'm not looking forward to trying to get the darks with it.
No, it might be a bit of an ambitious thing, but we'll see. We'll see.
Do you know what? It's a piece of paper at the end of the day.
It is. That's all it is. We're going to do a bit of green next. And for that green, I am going to use cerulean blue, or your intense blue, or your phthalo blue, whichever you've got it called, and cadmium yellow. So that will make a nice mid-green, a summery green, which you might think, well, why are we using a summery green? But when it's over the yellow ochre, it will dull itself down a little bit. Right, if I show you a bit of this mid-ground grass, I'm going to do a little bit like this. Like that. And where I want the other paler grass. And I needed a small section. Where's my biro lid? There it is. Before it dries, I'm going to use the scoopy part of my clip to scratch up and through. So I've got paler grass poking through. Now you don't have to do that, but I find it works and it is quite fun to do. Oh, I don't know, my paint's going to dry. Hang on a minute, Mr. Phone. Because obviously if you do it when it's dry, you ain't got nothing to scratch through. I'll have to answer that one. Could ask me in the archery. Speaking. Hello. Would you send it again? I did have one, but I had one sent yesterday, but it was the date on it was for last week, not this week. So I don't know if it's the same link or not, because I'm going to need it tonight, aren't I? I'm ready for my, I'm ready for my paper. That's it, yes, that's me. Perfect. Thanks ever so much. Alright. Thank you. Bye. Bye. I'm being interviewed on a Shop Happy forum tonight about my success with the platform and everything, which is nice. But they just needed to check I got the Zoom link because obviously I need it. Otherwise, I can't do anything. So you find doing a little bit at a time will work better, because otherwise it will dry, and it's weird in this room today because some things seem to be drying faster than others. If it's too wet, you won't be able to scratch through because it'll fill back in. And we'll do some more. This is called sgraffito, sgraffito. I think it's either 2 F's and 1 T, or 1 F and 2 T's, or it could be 2 F's and 2 T's. I really don't know.
Same as they do on clay, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, it's just scratching in really. I really any of you doing Wordle?
No.
Yeah.
I really struggled this morning.
I know, I had the same.
Oh,
there was,
there's so many options.
There's so many options.
Yeah.
I got it on the very last one, but I was between two, and I was like, it could be either word, and I didn't know.
Yeah, it's amazing how similar it is. Because I got the main ones, but then I'd got the first, middle, and last letter fairly quickly.
Yeah.
But then I was entering them. No, not that one. Next one. No. Next one.
Yeah,
No. I was like, ah!
same. I got it on the last go, and I was like, I've never had to get to go to the last one before.
I was in a different realm the other week. No, earlier this week. My Wordle was still the original version, and it was a different word.
Really?
Yeah.
On the New York Times one?
Yeah. Mine hadn't switched over, so I don't know what had happened. But I'm
Unique insight.
absolutely. I'm not the only person that happened to, so that was really weird. And then I went to go back in and double check because I thought, oh, this is good. I'll be like having 2 different games. But then it switched to the New York Times. Well, we're through to the final of curling, apparently.
Oh, good.
Let's do a little bit of foreground. I've left that gap there because I'll do more stuff in it. We're going to do a lot of building up. This is all about building up. I'll do a bit in the foreground as well. And I never mix enough paint. Although I just realised, Dee, that this is the same as my summer green.
Oh yeah.
So we could use that. How are you doing with your grass?
This is fantastic for grass.
Good. Before you do a recommendation, let me order more indie, because everybody's going to buy them based on your...
Because it just creates little grassy tufts.
It is. It's really good. You ought to check out Frank Clark, which I mentioned yesterday.
Yes.
Have some more fun. I don't know which part of Ireland he was from, but he was a lovely man with a bad taste in shirts. He wore, you know, the Hawaiian shirts all the time on his shows, so big gaudy coloured ones. I don't know if he's still going.
Colour's very wrong, but I don't really mind.
No. Don't matter.
Master this brush.
How do you stop getting all the harsh edges?
It's tricky. It is just about when one area is dried and you're putting another one in, you'll get a hard edge. So sometimes it's better to do it while it's still a little bit damp,
Yeah.
and then that'll give you a better effect. Bit of texture. So yeah, this, if you haven't done today's Wordle, I won't spoil it for you, but be prepared for a bumpy ride.
I've never done it.
It's nice because you only can do one a day, so it's not addictive. I also have an app called Wordus, and that is where you can do as many in a day as you want, using the same principle, but it can become quite addictive, which isn't always ideal.
I have a competition with my flatmate every day who gets it first.
And who wins normally?
Not me.
Oh, mind you, Jackie's extremely good. She nearly always gets it in one line less than I do.
That's
Always.
That's more than a line.
But she does say, and she is correct actually, that I attack everything in a very chaotic way. And I am quite chaotic in my mind.
So do you do it on your phone?
Yeah. It's the New York Times has taken it over now, and I really hope they don't try charging people for it, because it's that, well, I reckon they will eventually, because it's popular, but then it won't become as popular because people won't want to pay, because I've got that Wordus app for free, so I can just do as many as I want. I'm going to switch to a smaller round brush, something like that, and I'm going to use a little bit of this green and just, this is called dry brushing, which is horrible. People hate it because it's really hard, and you just have a dryish or damp brush, and you can just skim it across, and it should hit and miss the paper, or you can bounce upwards and it just gives a bit of texture in the background. But this watercolour is difficult in the sense that you can't judge how it's going to look until the end, because the darks don't go on until the end, and that's when it will look finished. So you use a small brush, flat long ways onto the surface. It can't be too wet, because the idea is that it hits and misses the peaks and troughs of your paper, but it is something you might want to practice on the back of another one, or a bit of scrap paper if it's your first time. But it's fast approaching tea o'clock, so don't fret. I haven't watched any of the Winter Olympics. I don't really have telly. The only time I watch telly is to watch Hollyoaks. That's about it, really.
I must admit, I was ridiculously pleased that the USA were out of the men's hockey,
Really?
ice hockey, because they're just such. They crow about. They don't crow about women, they crow about beating people.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Because I'm not a very sporty person, really. You can probably tell that from my physique. I'm built for cake, not for anything, not for weightlifting. I used to, you know, in my 20s, I used to go to the gym every day and I'd weight lift and I'd do all of that kind of stuff. But, you know, now's the time for cake and Cadbury.
But I go to the gym.
You do?
I do. I go to a class on a Wednesday, which I have organised, and I've organised the class so that I can still get here on a Wednesday afternoon.
Excellent.
And it's for our oldest person is 68.
Is this a yoga-y thing, or is
no,
it...
it's called Strength and Stretch, only I call it the Wednesday Lunch Club. And it's people of a certain age.
Okay.
And he puts us through stretching. And
Stretching's good, isn't it?
Build-ups.
See, I definitely got to do something. This shoulder still isn't since December. And I can't... Some days it's okay, but like there, I can do that. But then when I just brought it down, it's somewhere here, and there's certain aspects that I can't... Like, if I put my coat on... Going back, that hurt. It's sort of like when I'm having to twist it in a different way.
What
But
about
like...
it behind your back?
It hurts a bit, but not massively. It's so weird how it's just in certain positions...
Yeah, it's
and
when you recruit certain muscle fibres.
And I forget about it, but since mid-December this has been going on. And normally I'm a prodder, you know, I like to prod everything, but I can't find where it is, and it's really annoying, because normally I can get right. If I get a lot of stress muscle pain on my shoulder here, and normally I can press it and it's almost like, that's the spot.
And then you keep holding it.
Yes.
Not too hard.
No.
And then it'll go.
Yeah, but on here I can't actually work out. I feel it's something there, but I want to get a meat tenderizer on it or something and just whack it, because it's annoying. Paul says there's a great new machine at his gym. It does crisps, Mars bars, everything. Oh, Paul, we'd love you to come back to class in real life, because we do miss your jokes. I'm just going to make a slightly darker version of this green with the other blue. And that will make a very sludgy green.
What with the...
Ultramarine and cad yellow. Oh, I use cerulean. But that's okay. It doesn't matter.
I'm going to use ultramarine and...
If you want to darken it, add a bit of red in there.
Yes.
And I might do a bit of dry brush on the front, on the lawn. I'm going to say it's a lawn. It's not really a lawn, is it? It's a bit of texture. We like a bit of texture. I think this... I've picked up a very old version of my number 4 round brush, because it doesn't feel like my old friend. This feels like an imposter. So this is cad yellow and ultramarine. How are you coping, Ashlyn? You alright?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
I try not to go too fast, but I try to keep it a pace that can be done in 2 hours, because it's not easy. 2 hours. And nobody... You're all so hard on yourselves for the time frame that you've got, because nobody decides, right, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it in exactly 2 hours if you're at home, and I'm going to get it right. Well, yeah. So don't be hard on yourselves. So I'm doing more dry brush green with this sludgy version, and sometimes it's not always even dry brush, but I will do a lot with... We've got more grass to put in. We've got the actual cottage farm building to put in. This is an interesting one. Also the sun is coming from the left in this, so we'll add shadows later on, which will make nice stable things. Monday evening's watercolour class, because it's online on Monday nights, and the only reason it's online is because I can't get enough people to come in real life. If I had 2 or 3, and then 2 or 3 to make it worthwhile me actually coming down here to teach a class, I would do it. So at the moment it's just online. We did 3 cows staring over a dry stone wall. I might have the picture knocking about somewhere. Got a bit of texture, Da, da, da. La, la, la. So I'm hoping I've got Jackie back tomorrow. That's me 3 cows.
Oh, nice.
Aww.
That was quite a nice,
Lovely.
fun one to do. But cow faces are very hard. A farm is much. Actually, that's lovely.
I don't know, but thank you.
It is. It really is.
I need another cloth.
Oh, here.
This,
Oh, I've got 2.
yeah, probably that one's soaking wet.
What are you doing with it?
Well, I'm just trying to dry my brush off a bit.
With your hake.
Me ache.
That's lovely, Dee. Don't be too good, because I think
That-
you're better than me.
The hake is really good for grass.
It's quick though as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like
It's like
3
boom.
times the size of your other brush.
You make the top all spready.
Dee's having fun with her hake. So to reiterate, she's using a 1 inch. So she's using something a little bit, about that size,
Yeah.
to do a whole painting. So you know, but they are good brushes. But you can almost wring them out afterwards. As it's 3 o'clock, I will go and order the drinks. I'm presuming you're having a hot chocolate.
I'm having hot chocolate, please.
2 hot chocolates.
Very good hot chocolate.
It is lovely hot chocolate.
Really good.
It's the best hot chocolate I've ever had.
It's not like cocoa. It's like hot chocolate.
Nice.
Yeah. Because
Have you got a milk preference, Ashleen, or as it comes?
Oh, whatever it is. Yeah.
Whatever it is, you don't mind dairy or anything?
Oh no, goodness, full fat better.
Full fat. That's my girl.
Someone offered me red milk the other day, and I was like, no thanks. I think they got a little bit offended, but I need full fat milk. I just think it tastes so much creamier.
I've been used to red top
Have you?
pretty much all my life,
It's what you're used to, isn't
and
it?
therefore I find the full fat weird.
Do you find it too rich?
But then you see, I like oat milk,
Yeah, I quite like it.
which is
Which
really
is very creamy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I make chai. The shop in town, nothing but footprints.
Yes.
They do
Love
Indian chai,
Do they? I haven't actually got it from
Masala
there.
chai.
I'm only in there the other day. Yeah.
and if you put, I use oat milk for it. If you
Yeah.
put it in a saucepan and then add
And some of their
a
chai.
dessert spoon
Yeah.
of chai, bring it to boil and simmer it for 4 minutes.
Is it lovely? Ooh, I must pop in on the way back.
You might feel the need to add honey to it.
I prefer, my one thing about chai is I love chai, and the Twinings tea bags chai are quite nice, but I hate when I go out and you ask for a chai latte or chai tea and it's just syrup and it's sugary. I much prefer like a spicy.
The
Like savoury
nothing but
almost
footprints
chai.
chai is masala chai,
It's the
and
well,
it's proper
proper
spicy.
spicy chai. Ooh, that's
And
very nice. I
it's
love
so
that.
good. It's like a meal, and you can have it for lunch.
Really?
Well, yes,
Well, it's the oat milk in it, which is great.
it's the oat milk.
Yeah.
I think I prefer it with oat milk.
Yeah.
I've had it with dairy. I think I'm used to the oat milk taste now.
Yeah, and that's you like what you used to, don't you?
Yeah.
It's very natural.
But no, the if you go
yeah,
into
let's
the
pop in.
they call it Indian chai there, and you can buy a little paper bag of it.
Yeah,
and just
Just have it at home. Yeah, I have a whole counter at home where all loads of used glass jars and stuff. I go down to them for like seeds and stuff like that, and I
Exactly.
fill all them up. They're very very nice down there.
But if you just want to try it, I just put a couple of
Just
spoonfuls
put a
in,
few spoonfuls, have a little go. Yeah. Oh, thank you. That was a good
But
chat.
it
I'll have
is-
a go.
and it is very good with ginger biscuits.
I love a few of those.
Well, they are. I think they're the ultimate dunker.
They are, to be fair, because they're quite. I prefer them actually, like a ginger. I prefer it when it goes a little bit stale and it's a bit chewy.
And I make them chewy.
You make them chewy by dunking them in something, isn't it? So yeah.
But also when I make my own,
Oh, when you make your own
then yes, if you leave them out for a couple of
for a few days, then they're nice.
then they're all they can. You can
More like
bend-
gingerbread kind of texture,
then you
isn't it?
can
Yeah,
bend them.
I really like that stuff. If I had the time in my life to bake gingerbread and ginger cookies, I'd be very happy. But unfortunately,
You'll get there.
we'll get there one day.
The time will come. I mean, I spent years, I think, not having time because of having little ones,
Little ones, yeah, exactly.
and it's a real joy now. Well, to be able to do this,
Yeah.
because I stopped painting entirely when I had the children, because it was a question of, well, it was more, I get so engrossed,
Yeah.
and then it'd be a case of, what you want food? Well, you pot noodles, mate. And I had to stop,
Had to stop, yeah.
which was, I found that hard.
Did you always paint them from a young enough?
Yes,
Yeah.
I did, and I painted all through school. But I've never done watercolours. My father, like your grandmother,
Yeah.
absolutely excellent watercolourist.
Yeah.
He did the most fantastic botanical paintings.
That's what she does as well. It's just
Oh.
all flowers, and they're so like you would pay hundreds and hundreds for them in a gallery, and she would just look them out. And bless her, she hasn't painted since her granddad died 3 years ago, and she hasn't picked up a brush since. And she's just still not quite ready, even though we're trying to really convince her.
Yeah,
She's just not quite there yet. But her whole house is just there's just every painting on the wall is basically her watercolor, and they're
Yeah.
just fabulous. They're so delicate.
yeah,
But she's very much the fine kind of art and very detailed. She's not a very wishy washy kind of painter. She doesn't like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. She wants it to be perfect. She's very hard on herself, I
But
think.
she's-
But they're incredible.
Have you ever been to in Kew Gardens?
No.
They've got a building which is entirely a gallery.
Oh
And it's
wow.
all botanical paintings, and it's like, okay, well, I'm giving up now.
Oh really? You just puts you to shame, does
Oh,
it?
it's absolutely spectacular. And we went last year, and they had an exhibition where some plants are naturally iridescent,
Yeah.
and that's really hard to get in paint.
Sure, yeah. These
Because
people managed it.
true iridescence, like for example on a beetle's wing,
Yeah.
one day and then you change,
Yeah.
and the colour changes, and they've actually made some pigment which is iridescent, and it's incredibly expensive. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
well, no, we won't.
We won't even talk about how much it is.
And they'd actually used this pigment on various surfaces and various paintings, and as you walked, they changed.
They changed. Oh my god.
And it was like, well, just look at it. It was, and it's some kind of really special technology
Yeah.
that makes something that you add to the pigments.
Yeah.
That was amazing, but apart from that, the botanical paintings that were there,
Incredible.
and
what have the last few years been for?
Yeah. But I mean, you're someone like your grandmother. It would be good for you to go and see
Yeah.
these ones that are acknowledged, astonishing,
yeah.
and then
Where are they?
Kew Gardens,
Where's that?
London.
London. Oh, okay.
Kew Gardens, Richmond area, is it? It's on the tube.
Oh, okay.
It's on the tube.
Yeah.
And a biscuit.
Oh, thank you very much.
And for you, madam.
Thank you so much, sir. I do appreciate it. And I'm going to have to remember to pay you later.
That's okay. Right. How are yours looking online? Thanks for joining us, Judy, and I look forward to seeing what you do when you catch up. Right. Nice hot chocolate. Mm-hmm. It really is just like the best. Can't get comfy. My cushions have gone astray.
You won't give any puffing up.
That's better. I should have an armchair really, shouldn't I? If I sit here long enough, I'm here like... It'd be awkward for the cameras then. I used to paint before you knew me. I used to paint upside down before we had all of this kit.
So that people could see.
I would paint like that. But it would mean I could never do anything detailed because I couldn't do it upside down. So at least this way we can do like proper classes. But yeah, when I do demos, I used to do demos in the streets and paint upside down.
I do love technology.
It's made my life a lot easier. It really has. Right, I'm going to do a bit more yellow ochre-y, grassy things. I don't know if I want to use this brush or a thinner brush. Let's try. I'm going to have yellow ochre and a little bit of burnt sienna, just to make it a little bit darker. And I'll do a few tufty. I've got hiccups now. A few tufty things. So, which vets are you at, Ashley?
Sorry?
Which vets are you at, or are you?
Hawthorne Lodge, up the road just on West Bar Street.
Got ya.
It's like just beside the driving centre.
Yeah.
So yeah, busy.
I bet. Is that the only town centre one, isn't it?
Sorry?
That's the only.
There's West Bar is right beside us. They're a different vets practice.
Oh, okay.
Then there's Vets for Pets is down by like Hobbycraft.
Yes, yes.
There's another one somewhere, but I don't know where, to be honest.
There's one in Middleton Cheney.
Yes, there is. Mansion Hill is in Middleton Cheney.
Yes.
But there's one called Crofts somewhere. I don't know where.
Crofts is the pet shop, but I don't know if
Yeah,
that.
apparently there's a Vets as well. I think it might might be the whole way out to Brackley.
Brackley.
To be honest.
Yes.
So how long have you been in this area then?
So this is my first job.
Oh, is it really?
So yeah.
So once you qualified, you got the job.
Once I qualified, I came up here, because they're an excellent vets. So I went around and had loads of interviews, and then I chose these guys because they're, speaking of technology, very nice technology and kit all in house. So yeah, decided to go for the life of luxury.
Why not?
Well, you think it's going to be luxurious. I think the extra technology just means you've more work to do in your day.
Yeah, but I suppose you can get better results, don't you? Because you'll know what you're dealing with.
Definitely. Like we have a CT scanner in house, and
Oh wow, okay.
And say, oh, I need my dog's back is bad. And I said, oh, have a CT scan in 2 days' time. You'd never get that on the NHS.
No.
So it's quite nice to have it and be able to offer it because it does allow you to do a lot of.
Absolutely, I think that's amazing.
That you wouldn't have in a lot of other places. So
See, when I watched All Creatures Great and Small, he was on about the vets that he worked at before had all the technology. They had an X-ray machine in the 1930s, and he wanted to work there.
Yeah, I know. Times have changed from just an X-ray machine to a CT machine.
Yeah,
Very, very different.
that's amazing. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, how most doctors' surgeries don't have X-ray machines, yet all dentists do.
It's
Because I think that's
historic.
yeah, I think that would be a really interesting additional thing if you could see your GP and they could just do a quick X-ray just to eliminate things.
The problem with X-rays for humans is that you have to. There are real restrictions around when you can use them.
Yeah, I'm always being X-rayed at my dentist.
Yes, because they can't.
I can't see what's underneath.
Well, if you
Not
go
with my
to,
teeth.
If you go to a doctor with something like a bone poking out,
Yes.
then the X-ray is used to determine the course of treatment.
Yes, if it's a break or a fracture or a what have you.
So if that's suspected, they can use an X-ray.
Yes.
But if you're just not sure what it is, you can only use X-rays, radiation, if it will affect the course of treatment.
Yeah. See, I'd love to be able, as somebody with a massive health anxiety, I'd love to be able just to look when I've got a pain, just to have a quick look in, just to see, just to stop me from worrying about it all the time, because I will.
But because there are real health risks from X-rays.
Yes.
And this whole sort of do no harm thing, you can't just expose people to radiation.
No.
For the fun of it.
No.
It's a shame.
In dentistry, like when they just do it for your mouth, it's
Yeah.
far lower, like concentrations.
And it's in a very small concentrated area, isn't
very
it? It's
small
not like
area.
body wise.
We use them in animals as well. We have a different dental X-ray machine to a normal one. And to be fair, I'm blasting radiation every day of my life, unfortunately, but I can't really get away from it. But it's the dentistry ones are really, really cool. You literally get right up to the jaw and then it's just done.
Yeah.
They're nowhere near as dangerous as doing whole body ones.
No, technology is amazing.
And for example, if you think someone's got a prolapsed disc and all the indicators are there that it is a prolapsed disc, why bother doing an MRI?
Well, yeah, because the
treatment's not going to be changed by doing the MRI.
No. Gosh, remember when I did my back in at the start of last year? That was awful.
I still think that was muscle spasm as much as anything, because it didn't go down your leg, did it?
No, it didn't go down my leg. It was just all the back, and it was when I was on my hands and knees and I overstretched, and then it was when I got up that it went and then I couldn't walk. Then 2 weeks. I don't like this getting older, and I'm not even that old.
I said to Tony last night in bed, how long's it been I can't just turn over in bed with ease?
Well, I've got to stop because I now start making noises when I bend down to pick something up, and I don't know what age that started with me, but I'm going, oh, and I don't even feel any pain. I think it's like is it a rite of passage now? I'm in my 40s. I have to make moaning noises when I bend over and pick things up.
And when you get out of the chair.
So you've got all this to come. You've got decades yet, Aisling.
I was going to say, I think I'm already half there. I
No.
things myself, I'm only just 25.
See, I'm old enough to be your dad, Ashley. That makes me sad. Because I still only feel 20 in my head.
What worries me is I'm old enough to be your dad.
Yes, you are, yeah.
That worries me.
It's very rare I teach people now that I'm old enough to be the parent of. Normally I'm old enough to be the son of.
Yes.
You know, when I was teaching in primary education, that was very different. But Katie, do you remember Katie on a Friday afternoon? No, she comes Friday afternoons. Katie is one of our younger students in her 20s that I'm old enough. I think I've probably got food in the freezer older than Katie. Definitely got socks.
That's a worrying thing, isn't it? Oh, do you know I really need to put more dark in?
Well, you can.
I know, but...
So I'm just doing a few more. You can see it's building up slowly now. Are you feeling a bit more confident about it, Aisling, or not? Bit?
We'll see how it looks at the end.
Well, hopefully you'll come back to classes.
Yeah, it's really nice. Just get out and do something different.
Absolutely.
That isn't weather dependent.
Well, exactly, yeah. for a swim this morning, and I was like, right, swim in art class. So like, that's a very wholesome day.
It isn't it? It's a very self-care day, isn't
It is,
it?
yeah.
Now, I get to do this every day. I spend 6 hours a day painting.
You're just jealous. He just says this to make us.
I work. The shop's only open 10 till 4, and from 10 till 4, apart from an hour, I'm sitting here teaching a class or painting. And then I've got one day a week, one morning a week, where I can get commissions and things done. The one I posted yesterday it's got really popular, the commission I did of a dog. I wouldn't have
Did you
thought
have
that.
it any other way?
No, I would like to earn some money from it though. It would be nice.
Yeah,
It would be nice for the hours.
For the hours that you spend.
Yeah.
I think that the vets ought to commission Barry to do lots of dog painting.
Dog
I will-
paintings.
I'll put the word in.
Yeah, do.
And then you can have them in the surgery.
I'll show you some of my.
We need to get a bit of a. We need to redo the reception area anyway.
Because he is very, very good at dog paintings.
I'll show you the latest one. Oh, I can show it on my Insta. I did it before Christmas, but I only gave it to the person the
Oh
other day.
my gosh, that is absolutely
Oh,
incredible.
you can come again. Excellent.
That's
Thank
so
you.
detailed.
And then, that's another one, but that's on a wooden panel.
Oh my goodness, that.
I don't get very many cats. I think cat lovers don't really want portraits.
Do you know the pictures of cows?
I
Cows'
do
faces.
I do.
Oh, that was another Christmas commission.
Oh
Little
my
poppy.
gosh.
And I've met that one. She comes in the cafe. And I met this one, and his tongue is always out.
He's a pug.
Yeah, always out. So yeah,
His
I
tongue's
do.
too big for his mouth.
He's
Is
just
that
in
the
quite
breed?
a lot,
It's not right, is it?
Quite a contentious issue.
Yes.
You can tell my view. Oh, they're really sweet, bless them.
And that was one had died, and
Oh, and
and
it's
their
just kind of
brothers. Yeah. So I do lots of pet portraits. I've only ever done one horse.
That was
Horses are very difficult though as well because they're generally all one colour, but then it's just how
Yes.
the light hits the muscles.
Well, this one was over
Sometimes they can
lockdown,
be.
and it was such a beautiful photo with the owner with her head on
That's
his
really
nose,
sweet.
and then there was two versions, and that was her loving him. But
Show me.
that one, and then
Did you get more time to do any commissions like paint yourself during lockdown?
no,
No.
because I was still teaching all the classes, you see, in lockdown.
Just
So we did them all online. The only thing I had more time to do was to like sit in my own house, because I don't get a chance to do that very often.
Yeah. I found it was actually quite nice because I was meant to be finishing university, but then I was just locked at home for 3 months. And when all the siblings came back and we hadn't all been together for that much time and like
Yes.
forced to be there for so long, and it was actually really nice because the weather was good.
So were you in Ireland in
I was
lockdown?
Ireland, yeah. I went home for 4 days. I flew back just before it had because everything went bad so quickly.
Yeah.
Within a week.
Yeah.
I went home and it was absolutely fine when I went home.
And then you
And
couldn't
then
get
I
back.
couldn't get back. And I went home with clothes for 4 days. And then I borrowed my sister's wardrobe for 3 months.
Oh no, it went really crazy.
But then you were able to finish uni online.
Yeah, so final exams and everything were online.
That's amazing.
Um,
So, but that's technology as well.
Right.
You see, because most of our students are older, recycled teenagers. I don't know.
Absolutely. Ancient hippies.
We went online a couple of weeks before lockdown because we could see how it was going, and people were getting a
a
bit
little bit worried.
worried about coming. So we started, and I had to work out how to do it online. So we've got now people from all over different areas of the UK joining us now, as well as in the classroom. So it's really good fun, and it's kicked me on the bum really, because it's stuff that I've been able to do for years, but I just never bothered. I'm just doing a slightly darker brown with the burnt sienna and a little bit of ultramarine, and I might just do a few little darker streaks, and then we'll work on the building because we've got only about 40 minutes.
And the wall.
And the wall. I know.
walls
Are
are
you
so
starting to panic, Dee?
Just a bit.
You've got a whopping great big brush. You could do it in 30 seconds if you wanted to.
I'm waiting. I'm being patient, Barry. Did you not notice?
Well, yes. That's what shocked me, really.
Did me as well, I tell you.
But you're enjoying yourself, Ashlyn.
Yeah, I am. It's really nice.
So sometimes there's another 2 people in here, isn't there, in the
Yes.
afternoon? But they're both away today, so
Yeah,
you've got an
Marie's
almost
being bionic.
yes. And I think Christine's got other stuff to do because it's half term. And there's usually about 4 or 5 people online. So it's just really nice. I do love my job.
That's the most important thing.
It is indeed. It just about pays my bills.
I do more work than I do at home, so my heating bill is very little because of
Well,
over
yeah,
there.
that's true.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing to never be in your house, but
Yeah, well, I'm loving my new sensor light for my landing, Dee, at home.
Are you?
Yeah.
So you go out and it comes on?
Oh, yeah. Once I get halfway up the stairs, it turns on. And then it only lasts a couple of minutes, though. So if you're in the bathroom, it's dark again by the time you come out. But that's all right. But no, amazing, really. Didn't know these things existed until I Googled. I'm just rubbing out some of my bottom of my wall line, but I think I've encased some of it in paint. Because I don't need the pencil line for that wall now, because I've painted around it, so we're all right. Okay, so got to do the house. Soz. No, it's a funny colour, isn't it? How are you doing online, by the way? You're very quiet. It worries me when you're quiet. I think you're up to something. She's gone renegade. It's this new hake. It's made her a changed woman. She said yesterday in the drawing class, I want to be loose. I want to do loose painting. So we got a hake. And is it making you loose?
Yeah, because you can't. You can't be anything else because it's so big.
But it's good for stippling, isn't it? And grassing.
Very good for grass. Like grass.
So this colour of the stonework is interesting because it's a grubby colour for the actual cottage itself, isn't it? Now for me, I'm going to do. Oh, well, let's mix with this one. I think there's a bit of yellow ochre in there, and a bit of ultramarine. That's almost the right colour, actually. It's sort of like a greeny grey, isn't it?
And the roof's darker, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to do the roof. I think I'll add some cerulean in the roof. But the stone wall at the foreground is also a different colour. But I was kind of nice in a way because the house hasn't got much perspective on it at all, has it? It is just a front view, which I thought you'd like me better for than if we'd done a really tricky one. And it doesn't matter if you don't have to mix the right constant colour for this, because it's stone, so you can have a few different tones in it. A bit bluer underneath the eaves, maybe a bit of shading. Because we know the light, it is in shadow technically, but I think we can fudge it a little bit. So we've got shadows to put on and all sorts of stuff. I think I want to do the fore wall the same colour as the roof, because it seems to be a bit bluer. Daphne, you're doing it. Oh, you've caught up, Daphne. Well done. Are you using a hake as well?
So the roof's kind of the same colour but bluer.
It is. You could, for the roof, you could add some burnt sienna and maybe a bit of cerulean as well, which will, the cerulean will make it go a little bit greenier, but you can offset that with a bit of ultramarine if it's too green. Let's put a layer on and hope it doesn't run into the house. See, I'd love to live in this. I bet this would make a really nice artist's cottage. Do painting holidays from it.
I want to know that it had a bit of services in it.
Yeah, I would imagine it hasn't got much here in the middle of Dartmoor. It looks a little isolated, doesn't it?
Oh, I can't see an outdoor privy.
No. So that would be a gazunder, wouldn't it? I suppose. Right, so I'm using the same colour as the roof as the stones, but I'm just doing a wash on the wall. But where it comes to the long grass, I'm flicking downwards so it highlights it a little bit. So I reckon actually once you start to see the darks coming into play, you'll be thrilled with what you're doing. And your granny will love it too. And she'll probably want it on her wall.
Oh, I don't know about that.
So what sort of things does she paint?
She basically is like exclusively botanicals.
Oh, and is it very botanical?
It's very detailed. Yeah, very, very pretty flowers. That's all she has off anyway. Maybe she's tried other things but doesn't like it.
Well, that's fair enough. We don't do botanical stuff here because we do more aesthetic florals if we're going to do it, because I haven't got the patience for botanical. You might think I would have doing pet portraits, but I don't. I can't even do a jigsaw. Are you still using your hake for all this?
Yeah.
Dee, this is impressive stuff.
Yeah, well, it's being
Loose and free.
yeah, well. See, that's where Norman comes in.
Yes.
Loose and free, because Norman's just so good at it.
I think sometimes it can be acquired, but often it's a bit like singing. You know, you might want to sound like Catherine Jenkins, but that may not be in your range. But you can still sing, just maybe not the way you want to.
Singing is just completely doesn't happen.
Well, I'm still waiting to find out if I'm going to be booked for the Jubilee beacon lighting thing. I've been asked and I've accepted, but will it go ahead? Bit of texture. It's looking a bit better now. There's something tangible. And we're filling stuff in. We've still got half an hour to go. I might use a gel pen or something for the... I'm going to not have the windows boarded up, so I might do them dark. And then white gel pen. Make it look like a nice lived-in farm, you know. So I've got one more class tomorrow afternoon, and that's my classes for the week. I'm still here on Saturday though. I've got to do my shop job on the Saturday. I'm the Saturday boy downstairs. Yeah. Yeah, mine. Can't afford a Saturday person. Although some Saturdays it's not worth employing somebody because it's that quiet. Saturdays aren't busy days anymore for towns.
It's much busier walking in today. Because some days walking in it's dead.
It's half term, so I think more people are out and about, aren't they? That might be it.
It's half term. Why were all the flipping mummies outside my house this morning?
Oh, is it not? Are they breaking up next week then, where you are? Because it used to be Valentine's week. Back when I was teaching, half term was Valentine's week, but Easter is a week later. Easter is on Shrove Tuesday is on St David's Day, so the 1st or 2nd of March is Shrove Tuesday this year.
I think Northamptonshire are off this week, kids, and Oxfordshire are next week.
Yes.
We've got 2 bets in the practice, and their kids are off different weeks.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're right at the border, we get a bit of both.
Yeah, we are. Well, this is it. You know, we're border Warwickshire, Northamptonshire, and we're Oxfordshire, aren't we? So it's sort of 3 different counties, right?
Everything, aren't we?
Yeah. I think more of our customers come Warwickshire and Northamptonshire.
Yeah. Rather than the heathen Oxfordshire.
Yeah. Well, I think if they're South Oxford, they go to Broad Canvas before they get to us in Oxford.
Yeah.
But there isn't an art shop in 20 miles north or east of us here. There aren't very many about. I think there's one in Leamington, a small one in Leamington, and then there's one in Oxford, and then I don't think there's another one until you get to Birmingham.
Unless you count the big imposters.
Yes, you've got the biggie ones, but then there's Wolverhampton and Birmingham. There's not. Well, there might be one in the Merry Hill Centre now in Dudley. The big chains of evilness. I'm not bitter. I used to be a demonstrator and used to have to go to Hobbycraft to demonstrate. So they were useful then. But not now. You know,
Everything that amazes me with Hobbycraft is that people think they're cheaper.
they're not though.
No.
I'm just doing a very pale wash for my door. In fact, there are certain pads that Hobbycraft sells are the same as us, but they're double the price of us. And yet they've got a bigger buying power.
Yeah, so they should be much cheaper.
They should be cheaper, but they don't pass that on. But I don't ever say which pads they are, because if they get wind of it, they'll try and undercut me. I'm sure.
And irritatingly, they'll be able to.
And they will be able to, yes. It's all down to buying power and storage. We don't have a stock room here, so we can only afford to put out what, we can only get what we can put out on the shelves. So we can never buy much, but if they buy like 1,000 of a certain product, they will get a much better deal than little old me.
Every time.
Right, so I'm going to do ultramarine and burnt sienna to make a very almost black colour, a blue-black. And I'm going to do the inside of my windows in that. Because as I said, I'm going to do gel pen. And then we'll do some purple shadows afterwards. That'll do something like that. Do you know, I've forgotten I put 2 gate posts on my wall. I ought to add it, make it a dark brown or something. And then the dark colour that I've got mixed for the windows, which is the ultramarine and the burnt sienna, I'm going to use to create my wall. And I'm going to do a wall in it's going to be a very different wall.
Mine's very different.
Because it hasn't got coping stones on that wall, which I think is YD. You could be right in what you said originally about it.
Okay, hake is not good for a house.
No, I imagine.
Really isn't.
But you've had a try. Ultramarine, burnt sienna, dark tones. So although this is almost outlining, I guess, I will soften. Yeah, this isn't my normal brush.
Not my brush.
Or it was my brush, but it's had years of abuse and I switched to another brush, but I can't find where I've filed that. Never mind. So I'm just making up a random wall shape. They're quite rounded, some of those stones on that wall. I think my sister's coming to visit on Sunday. She's just recovering from COVID.
Quite a few people got it at the wedding.
Did they?
Yeah.
You were lucky to escape it then.
Yeah. My brother-in-law got it and we all sort of groaned because he's one of these who's, when he's ill, he's so ill.
See, I'm not like that. I do moan a lot about, I worry and have anxiety about being ill, but I'd still just get on with it.
Oh God, no, Matthew wouldn't know how to get on with it.
Because I can't afford to be off. The wall drawing is going to take, you know, doing the bricks, that's the longest part. But I want to, although I'm outlining it now, I will need to not, you know, disguise some of those outlines later on. Although there's not a huge amount of later on left, is there? But you know what I mean.
One of the good things about this brush is that because it stays damp, you can pick up colour
Yeah.
easily when you've dried it and get a good concentrated colour.
That's good. So So you're a fan of the brush then, Dee, is that fair to say?
I think I might pick a better subject to use it.
I don't know, what's next week? It's Thursday after panoramic fields.
Oh wow, yeah. Fields.
That might work for next week. So is this the only one you've booked in on, Aisling, so far?
Yeah, so far I'm off most Thursdays, and I'm around. I'm around probably 50% of them, so I thought I'd give it a go. I would have done last week's, but I only got here at like 2:15.
Ah.
And I was like, oh, but oh well. So I thought I'd come this week and give it a go.
And you're going to come back?
Yeah, I think so. If you'll have me.
I think we will. What do you reckon, Dee?
Absolutely. I tell you what, she's cracking on there.
I know. It's nice to have some young blood, isn't it? There's nothing wrong with old blood, by the way. But you know.
Young blood is better.
It's nice to have a
That's
mix.
nice.
I think.
It is. I like having a good mix. That's really nice, Dee. I can't. You finished now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so annoying. Blimey.
Thundering great brush.
So that's the answer. If you want to be fast and
And
loose.
it stops me fiddling.
So I'm just
I've
going
tried
to...
fiddling with it and it don't work.
No, you can't fiddle. So I'm just going to soften the right-hand side of the lines of the stones. Do you need some gouache?
Don't know yet.
That's unreal. That's so good.
Well, you've done it in just over... We've done it in an hour and a half.
I know.
So Dee's found the answer to stop her from fiddling.
Have a brush that won't let you.
Have a brush the size of D.
I can hide behind the brush.
So all I'm going to do after I've fiddled with this a little bit is mix a shadow colour and do some nice shadow. Oh, I could use this to do a bit of dry brush on my roof like that. So I've got some roof tiles.
I think my roof tiles have fallen off.
Of course, because it was last Thursday you came in about the paint, wasn't it? Because
Yeah.
Jackie hadn't left at that point.
Yeah, we got the joy of watching him and Barry trying to open it.
Yeah.
Glad it provided some entertainment.
Oh, it was. We tried not to really laugh in his face, you know, because that would have been rude.
Doesn't normally stop you lot. They pick on me all the time, Ashley.
Oh, I'm sure you can handle it.
No, I'm very upset. Of course, I never do that myself. I would never dream of... I'm far too professional to pick on my students.
No, not much.
I can't believe you finished.
Because I've got a thundering great brush.
So you can use gel pens to highlight certain aspects and things. The hardest thing with watercolour
Yeah.
is that you have to leave your light colours at the beginning.
Yeah.
And if you get a bit carried away,
Go too dark.
you lose it all. But you can always add them afterwards if you want to.
Yeah.
From here, that looks really nice.
That's because they're from there.
No, it looks good. You don't want to be too hard yourself. And when you take a photograph of it, it will change it again because it, you know, changes the colour. Have you learned a bit more though about it?
Yeah. So you're just softening up all the edges.
Yeah, because otherwise it looks very
It's very
outlined
outlined,
and
yeah.
a bit illustrative. So I'm softening edges, then I'm going to make a sort of purpley grey shadow colour and add some shadows on the building and on the floor. So you have you all set up, aren't you? You didn't need anything today.
Yeah, no, I've got there's not a huge amount you need really to get started, is there?
No. Jackie would have been able to sort you out anyway when you came in. Nearly just got about to put my darks on, my shadow. Do you? See, because the shadow's going to come that way, I'll be able to do some nice shadow there and maybe in amongst the grass, and then a shadow across from the house. Because you can kind of see it there, because in fact the light is coming from slightly behind the house, because the shadow kind of comes...
The shadow of the house
Yes,
is there, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I might miss that a little bit and tweak it. And then I can gel pen the windows, although it is 10 to 4. I don't know if I started a bit later today. Or have I been talking too much? It's very hard to tell. So let me mix up a sort of purple, I think, from ultramarine and cadmium red. And I might shove in a little bit of burnt sienna. So it's a bit of a purple grey. And that'll be my shadow. There's a bit of shadow. I'm going to not cheat, but I'm not going to follow the image fully. I mean, I've already made up what it is anyway, haven't I? So shadow coming along the grass. Flick down a little. So by flicking down with the shadow colour, it looks like the shadow is behind grass, and then you flick up as well. Can you see that there? So it settles it in. Instead of just doing a line, it does create bit more realism. But then there is shadows. What I wonder, that's got to be a very low light, hasn't it? Because those shadows on the grass are really long, and that's got to be from the tufty bits, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's stick a bit of that in. I'm using my squirrel for this now. I'll probably regret that. No. I do like darks. Oh, I love them. The shadows do make the picture, which is sad because most people hate going dark with their paints, because it's scary, but it does make a massive difference. See, I'm going to have a shadow of this wall. you're fiddling.
Yeah. I'm just going to make a mess of it.
Surely you're not fiddling with your hake.
Yeah, I was.
That's almost impossible to fiddle with that. It's like the first time Rosemary decided to do dry brushing with her squirrel. She can't do it. She's not been able to do it since. And it was really effective. But it does enable you to fiddle a little bit if you need to. Well, I can recommend a good Netflix series, The Woman.
The Woman in the Window.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Yeah,
Have you watched it all?
No, not all of it. I thought the first 1 or 2 episodes were dreadful, and then once you get into it, it's so good.
It is. I binge watched it all over the weekend because they're only half-an-hour episodes, aren't they? So yeah, it's got really good twists in it.
You never know what's going to come next.
And to be honest, I still don't know. Now it's finished. A lot of stuff. It leaves you with a few questions on how real anything of it really was. So I don't know what episode are you on roughly?
Oh, I don't know. What's last happened? Well, she's just about to be abducted.
Ah.
So I don't know what episode that is, but that person's just walked up. And then you're like, oh my goodness, it is real.
It's amazing.
Very well made.
It is really. I didn't think I'd get into it because I didn't think it was the kind of thing I liked, but actually, while it was on in the background and I was doing everything else, I got a bit in. Well, clearly because I watched it all, I was carrying it around the house with me while I was doing the housework on my iPad. I need to know now what's going on. Yeah, because it's a really funny title, is it? The Woman Across the Road from the Girl in the Window or something like that, isn't it?
Ridiculous, yeah.
So if you want to binge watch for a weekend, if you've got no willpower like me, it's nice and bite-sized. But Paul, it's not necessarily a happy ending film, so you probably wouldn't get on with it. Well, I can't wait to see all of your work this week, to see what you've done with this one. Is it looking a bit better now you've got some darks on it? For your first ever in a class, you know, you don't want to be too hard on yourself. And I bet when you take a photograph, it does make a massive difference because it pushes things back and shrinks things and makes a big difference. Nearly 4 o'clock. I might do a little bit of dry brushing. In the foreground. I've still got to do my windows with gel pen. And there's somebody in the shop, so you might get a slightly longer lesson anyway, because I've got to go down. Let me gel pen my windows just so you can see what that'll look like. Another good gel pen. Are they the hinges on that door? That massive big rectangles? They can't be hinges, surely.
I don't know what else they can be.
No, but they're massive, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think she's brush browsing. I've got a sign up to say that I'm up here, so the clue is if they stand by the counter, then I know they want me.
Okay, stop it. I've now started fiddling with my scribble. That's ridiculous. Looks like a river might walk.
Have you got? You've put some stones in, have you?
Well, kinda.
Oh, hang on. I think I don't know if Kathy's dealing with a. A few little things. I could use the gel pen for some highlights on the stone wall as well if I wanted to, but you do have to be careful with it while it's wet. I'm just going to nip down. Kathy's down there, but I don't know if I'll be back in a sec. Don't run away. Especially if you haven't rang.
I feel like I would have created something similar age 12, but you know,
Let's have a look.
I give it a red door.
And why not? But watercolour is difficult.
Yeah, I like the sky. I was like, oh, the
The
sky's
sky
really
is super.
blended. I was like, yay, and then the rest just went to
Yeah, but-
went to poop. It was the grass. The grass was
You
Must not
haven't got
work.
the shadows
yeah.
going across the grass, because that'll
Needs
will
some
settle
more.
it in.
I'll just bring that a bit further. Where's my shadows? Oh, where's paint? No.
I think watercolours really hard because you tend to paint as if it's acrylic,
Acrylic, yeah.
and it flipping well isn't. It doesn't behave.
The same.
No.
Maybe I should have started with acrylic.
No.
I was thinking the other day actually. I just painted. What? Where's it over here? I just did a hot air balloon the other day, and I was like, oh, that was fun. But then I did this one too close to this one. They both ran into each other,
Yeah.
and I was like,
It's
like
the
if this was acrylic, it wouldn't be an issue.
yeah. So just take it across like a swoop,
Just go straight across.
because they are. Yeah. Almost the house has got shadows at the bottom of it. You look at the picture, it's really dark at the bottom where
Yeah.
it's sitting in the ground. Oh, this looks like a haunted house. Very derelict.
It is, isn't it?
I think it might go fall down.
I think then you got the gist of it if you leave your house. That's incredible.
Ooh.
Honestly, it really does look very run down.
It really does. There's like bits are missing. But doing it with a big brush
Yeah.
that was interesting. I love the way Barry says it doesn't matter, it's just a piece of paper.
Yeah, it's quite reassuring, isn't it? That, like,
It's
you know
quite-
what? It doesn't.
It's quite freeing.
Yeah.
If I make a complete
Complete
picture,
picture. If you do something like, oh, this will work, and then you're like I think with that shadow there, I was like, oh, that'll absolutely work, and then I've just made it much worse.
because
But-
those shadows come a long way across. If you look at a picture.
Yeah. I think I was kind of trying to. I was more looking at his picture,
Oh,
the
yeah.
reference photo. I think is my issue.
Very different to my normal work, 'cause normally I fiddle like mad,
Really.
and it like into the detail. It annoys me because I want it to be open. So I wondered if I got a big brush, would that help? Yeah.
Yeah.
So tempted to answer.
Yours just seems very natural.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, it all just kind of flows. It is very loose, as they would say. Like, it's not focusing on huge amount of detail, but then you do get little bits of details in your shadows and in the windows as well.
Oh, that's more than just.
Doesn't matter,
But I
take a
think-
little
But I
wins.
think that's it with watercolour. A lot of books do that.
Somebody doing a botanical course.
Well, they're in botanics, they need lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Right, I'm just doing a few scriggles. Do you want to borrow a gel pen, Ashlyn, or are you alright?
I might as well. I don't think it can get any worse, to be honest.
Oh, you're going to be really hard on yourself. Let me just double check
I
that
think
works.
she's being far too hard on herself, because I think it's lovely. I can't remember whose art it reminds me of, but it definitely reminds me of someone's art.
I like it.
I do.
You've got to be pleased with that. That's a beautiful sky.
Yeah, so it started off so well and then it just went downhill.
No, you're being too hard on yourself. You really are. So, onliners, how have you done today? Are you going to tell me you've done a rubbish job, or will I wait and see what it looks like as a photograph in the group? It's a nice picture. So it's a rural view next week. I think I said that, didn't I? I'll just let you know what's coming up over the next day or two, and then you can clear off. I've got a Zoom to get to. No, not till 6:30.
You've got a what?
I've got a Zoom meeting. I'm being interviewed.
Oh, yeah. When?
6:30. So I've got
An
plenty of
hour's
time.
yet.
I know, but I've got to do it from home because I want to sit in a comfy chair and look like a professional, a wealthy person. So I have to arrange all my books, and so it looks like I'm educated.
Oh, you need to put some of your best work behind you.
Yes. I normally put my book behind me, and you know, to make I look like I'm really up myself, and I'm not, Ashley, I'm not up myself.
That's alright. I gotta get enough impression. I think you're very down to earth.
So, tomorrow afternoon is Stonehenge. Do you remember doing that with the rainbow? We may miss the rainbow out next week to try it, because I've done it in 2 different versions. One with a watercolour, one with pastels. Pastel rainbow, a watercolour rainbow, and maybe next week, tomorrow, will be no rainbow. Monday morning, live from Waddington, is swans swimming at sunrise in pastels. Monday evenings watercolour class online is Storm Clouds. Tuesday afternoon's acrylic class is Portrait. I've not decided to do. We're doing it. Won't be the Queen. Not again. Wednesday's gouache class is Pansies in a Glass Jar. Wednesday afternoon's drawing class is a dramatically lit peace lilies. And I took the photograph of that during lockdown because it's peace lilies that were next to my laptop with the sun shining through. So that'd be quite nice. And Thursday morning's pastels is Lakeside Reflections. Then next Thursday afternoon we've got Panoramic Fields. We've got Butterfly the week after. And then a hare. Oh, so I might come to these classes myself. They're all right. Some nice ones to do. So thank you very much, everyone. Norma, you said fab. I can't wait for you to. I can't wait to see what you've done. That's good. I'm hoping you've enjoyed yourselves. And do post what you've done. Even if you don't think it's any good. It's a closed group. Nobody can see what you're doing. Only the people in the group, and I won't laugh that much. I'll only put it on Twitter and maybe Instagram. No, I won't really. I won't put it on anything like that. I'm not that mean. Just see, I'm fiddling. I'm so bad. Right, I'm gonna stop. Thank you so much for your company. It's lovely, and thank you for Aisling for joining us today. It's lovely to have your company as well.
Thank you.
And hopefully it won't be the last time. I haven't put you off then.
No, not yet.
I'll have to try harder next time. No, I'm joking.
It does look much better when you take the edges off, yeah.
And it will look better still when you take a photograph of it, honestly.
It's much better with the edge.
Oh, it's lovely.
Doesn't it look
Very edgy.
Edgy.
all done with the hake. I see what you mean about the wall looking a bit like a river because it is that colour. But that's really loose, and that's what you wanted to achieve today, isn't it? Paul's going to want to see. They're all going to want to see what you've done. Can I just flash it? So this is basically just using a hake to become loose. I think you've achieved your looseness.
Very loose. But it's
That's
a river,
lovely.
It's not a,
It's a river, not a wall.
yeah,
That works with the tree, actually.
yeah.
That's nice. Really
And the
well
house-
The
done.
house looks very derelict.
Yeah,
It
the house
does.
is going to fall down any minute. It's
That
going
is
to
perfect.
boom.
That's really lovely.
It is lovely.
Do you want me to put that on the camera or not?
I mean, you can if you want, but it's pretty shocking.
It's not shocking.
It's not.
We'll just look at the sky and then everything else.
It is a beautiful sky.
One of the windows has to be fixed.
That's really nice. That's Aisling's first ever watercolour with us.
Isn't it fab?
That's amazing. Well done.
Thank you.
Definitely have to take a photograph of that. So thank you very much, everyone. I will say goodbye to you online because I've got to nip down to another customer. Take care, stay safe, have a really good weekend, and I'm sure I'll see you all soon. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye.